Greetings from Xavier, and thanks for joining me for this Fireside chat. It's been a while since we've been together. When we ended our chats in July, I didn't think it would be this long until we were back together. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for welcoming me into your home. I'm a bit casual today. I am just back from the 77th Jesuit Cross Country Championships in Van Cortlandt Park. And what a beautiful day in the midst of this COVID pandemic. 60 degrees, the sun was shining, the skies were blue. It was an abbreviated field, if you will. Fordham Prep, Xavier, and Regis. And in some ways an appropriate field, right? For well over 100 years, the three of us, the all-boys Jesuit schools of New York City, have shared this work of Jesuit education. Friendly rivalries, certainly, on the field, on the football field, on the hard court, on the track, but shared mission. And shared mission made possible by great mutual support and collaboration. And to see our guys running together today and striving within community, striving to achieve personal bests, cheering one another on, was just a wonderful, wonderful day. It was a great day to be there. Cross country was made possible in the midst of the pandemic, really by the great work of our head coach, Pat Dormer, who leads Catholic High School track in New York City, and his partnership with George Feblis of the class of '83, Mr. Feblis' son, who coaches up at Fordham Prep. And Pat just did wonderful work, making sure we could run safely and meeting the needs of the parks department and ensuring the safety of our student athletes and our coaches. And a delightful day for me to meet freshman parents who I haven't had a chance to spend much time with because of the pandemic. Or to see old friends. Michael and Michelle Flett were there with their son Calvin, who graduated last year, and the two younger Fletts, Quincy and Wyatt, are running now. Great conversation with them about a turkey farm that they're involved with, and the work that usually happens on this weekend to get those turkeys ready for us. Good things for us, not always such good things for the turkey. They're not involved in pardoning, more preparing. So great conversations. And then reminded of the ghosts in Van Cortlandt Park. So many Xavier guys who've run there through the years, folks that I've seen. Elliot and JC and Jono and Christian and G and the Karams and Dom and so many others. And then going back further, right, to the ghost of Jim Scott walking those trails and then walking that park as we were running there. So a good day. And a good day that continued. I went over to Mary Weigel Hall, Province Infirmary and Retirement Home, just off the Fordham campus. A visit to Father Tony Azzardo, one of my teachers and a great friend from my St. Peter's Prep days. I first met Tony as a freshman in 1975. As I'm visiting with Tony, Father Bob Kennedy, the Xavier class of '51, was coming back in and had a chance to visit with Bob, who has been such a powerful voice over so many years for interfaith work and particularly for Zen prayer and coming to draw from both traditions. Bob, such leadership in that field. And then a chance to visit with Father Jack Pozzioglu and Brother Jerry Mankhouse. Our Nativity grads and our Nativity families will remember Jack with great affection. For decades, he led the work at Nativity Mission Center and the growth of Nativity schools, inspiring the growth of Nativity schools across the nation, with such great care for students and families. Students and families, many of whom would have never come to Jesuit education without Nativity. And Jerry Mankhouse has done wonderful work in Africa and Micronesia, at Nativity, tutoring at St. Ignatius in the Bronx, and at Cristo Rey. And those guys were visiting with a Nativity alum who now is mentoring students from Reach and working with Xavier students and others as students go into college. Right? The work continues and is played forward. So a wonderful way to begin this Thanksgiving week and to think about this work of Jesuit education. In my first Fireside chat with you when the pandemic began, we spoke about being attentive to the Spirit, being attentive to the movement of God in our lives, moments of consolation and desolation, moments that move us to God, moments that move us away from God. I really want to return to that idea of consolation because I think that discernment, that piece of the puzzle where we say, how is God moving in our lives? Where is the Spirit? Is something we want to be attentive to in Thanksgiving and at Thanksgiving. Because this is the most Ignatian of holidays, Thanksgiving. It's arguably the most American of holidays as well, but it's certainly the most Ignatian. Because for Ignatius himself, gratitude was the highest of virtues. He writes in one of his letters that the lack of gratitude, that ingratitude, was really the greatest of sins. It closed off possibility. It allowed us to avoid the importance of people and events in our lives. It shut down God's Spirit. And so gratitude was something really at the heart of Ignatian spirituality and at the heart of Ignatius's life, at the heart of the life of the society. Right? So where are we more attentive to gratitude than Thanksgiving? So the invitation there is, where is God moving in our lives in the midst of this pandemic? Right? Because God's here, and God's with us, and God's Spirit is playing out in different ways. Right? So present to me today in Cortlandt Park and at Murray Weigel, in the joy of the faculty cheering on students, in the work of the coaches, in the support of the parents, and in the wonder of our kids, right? Running hard, working to achieve their best, supporting one another. Right? God was there. And seeing that was an invitation to me to look out, an invitation to be aware, an invitation to greater solidarity in community. Right? All of those things, evidence of consolation. So I hope for you that these days present an opportunity to look attentively at your experience and say, where are those feelings that inspire you, that invite you to look out, that remind you you're part of something bigger? Those are moments of consolation. Those are moments where God is present to you and inviting you. And as we give thanks for those moments, they also inspire us to not only continue to be attentive and continue to share gratitude, but continue to build. Okay? To build the common good, to build community, to build God's kingdom here on earth. We were able to do our first Kairos retreat this year, just this past week. Dina Sellers, Julie Teller, Ralph Dinelli, Mark Mongaluzzo, and Matt Chicas were the faculty who led that. Matt Chicas wrote me this morning and said it was really the highlight of his year, the highlight of 2020, and spoke about God at work in the people there. What a great gift to see that, to be part of that, to celebrate that. Just as God is at work in us. Let's spend some time this week seeing that, celebrating that, and giving thanks for that. So from all of us at Xavier, on behalf of Dan Denahan, class of 65, our board chair, on my behalf, on behalf of Mr. Mike Lavigny, the headmaster here, know of our thanks for your prayers, our thanks for your gifts, our thanks for your sharing of this mission of Xavier High School and this mission of Jesuit education. Be assured of our prayers for you and our thanks for you. Happy Thanksgiving. Sons of Xavier, keep marching.